yesterday, practically a category 5 with winds at 150. And I mean, we've all seen the damage in Louisiana. It's just, it's horrific. So our prayers continue. And of course we will be tracking it. We could even see some of the rain left over, nothing like what they're dealing with, but by the middle of the week. So we'll keep you updated there. This morning, we've had some rain. We've had some thunderstorms. Most of that is moving out. There have been a couple of flood warnings issued because of the rain from overnight this morning in spots. Other than that, though, partial clearing, still muggy, and low 80s today. But looking ahead, I just have to say with Labor Day coming up, the weekend itself looks great. So hopefully no changes there.
Yeah, it really does look beautiful. If you haven't seen it, take a look at Holly's 7-day because you'll want to make plans outside. Holly, thank you so much. Holly's got to run off to talk to WTAM. But some of the big stories that we're following, not only weather, but really the unfolding situation in Afghanistan. We've gotten some updates there. We're keeping an eye on the evacuations within the next 48 hours, which is the deadline, the August 31st deadline to get people out of Afghanistan on time. We don't think we're going to get everybody out. We had updates this morning from Washington. I mean, it's just when you look at the numbers and how many people they can put on planes and get them out, it's just time is ticking, and we'll see the situation as it unfolds there. And of course, we had that deadly bombing, the suicide bombing last week in just near the Kabul airport that killed 13 service members from the U.S. And Lindsay, you were highlighting a vigil that honored one of them, a local service member.
Yeah, Maureen, this is just so incredibly sad because as more information comes out about the servicemen and women who were killed, first of all, the one thing that you notice is that they're all so young. Most of them were babies when 9/11 happened. And so it's terribly sad that they lost their lives and made the ultimate sacrifice while trying to help others. So that's what happened to Maxton Soviak. He graduated from Milan Edison High School back in 2017. He served as a USA Navy medic and his mission was trying to help evacuate 120,000 Afghan people. So he lost his life last Thursday. What we do know is that hundreds gathered last night to honor his life in Berlin Heights. So many people gathered there. The one thing that I noticed as I was taking a look at the vigils, everyone was holding American flags. It didn't matter if they were in their 80s or they were 3 years old. Mm-hmm. They were just there to honor him. Lots of tears, lots of hugs. His family was there. His sister spoke, and it was just so powerful because what she told everyone at the vigil is that her brother lived his life 100%. And that's kind of clear when you look at his backstory in high school as a state champion wrestler. He was a football player. She went on about how he is a loving and loyal friend. But I thought that was interesting because his name is Max. He lived everything to the max, right? Mm-hmm. So he inspired everyone in his community to live life to the fullest. The gathering last night was just a testament to who he was in the community and how many people he's going to inspire with his sacrifice. And certainly his memory, you guys, won't soon be forgotten. It's going to live on. People are going to know about what he did over there and the sacrifice that he made. And again, our hearts go out to his family and friends this morning. So sad.
It's so heartbreaking when you see the family members who are so close to getting their loved ones home. And then this happened, and soldiers like Max, who just really gave the ultimate sacrifice. We see so much political divide and people throwing out all sorts of opinions. But when you see I don't know if you guys have seen the picture of the caskets being brought back on the cargo plane. Gosh. And it's just like, this is what we should all be unified about, just these are the heroes. These are the people who really laid down their lives for our country, for, the world. I mean, they were over serving another country, and, this is, it's heartbreaking that this is what's happening. And I know there's a lot of opinions out there about the situation that's happening in Afghanistan, but really it's just heartbreaking to know that these people have really paid the ultimate sacrifice, not to sound cliche, but they are just heroes in everyone's minds.
They really are. And that was very clear when you heard people speaking about Max. I think no matter what side of the fence you fall on, we can all agree that the pain that these families are experiencing is probably indescribable.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful. All right, well, let's turn the tables a little bit here, because something else that we were talking about this morning was the big crowd that gathered in downtown Cleveland last night to see a fight. Westlake native Jake Paul. Jake Paul. His brother is, I almost called him his brother's name. And then Tyron Woodley. They had the big fight downtown. Dave, can you recap the sports weekend that we had for us?
Yeah, big night last night in many regards, because you had Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse almost sold out. And then you had the Browns right here on Channel 3, Sunday Night Football, their final preseason game. So we'll start with the Jake Paul, as you mentioned, Westlake native. He beat Woodley. It ended up being a split decision. He wins 2-1 in a split decision. So basically what that means is neither fighter knocked the other one out. Woodley actually put Paul up against the ropes in the 4th round. And Paul himself gave himself a C-. That was his grade for his fight. But he ends up winning. So he's 4-0, I believe, now. And in the thing that's interesting about this, the Jake Paul thing here, is that boxing has kind of been a dying sport, and he is really bringing attention back to the sport. Some people like it, some people don't. As you know, or may not know, he's a YouTuber, and he's basically just kind of come in and learn the sport, and he's kicking butt, basically, is what's happening. And he has, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. He likes to, would trash talk be the right way to say it, I guess?
Yeah.
He has the ability to do the trash talking. So, and he brings a much younger crowd in. It's the younger TikTok people that are following him, and he has a big support out there. So he was upset that he didn't get the knockout of Woodley. Woodley used to be in the UFC, and I believe this was his first boxing match. Again, I am not a expert in the UFC, but so I don't know a ton about him. But definitely a lot of people keeping their eyes on this. So big win at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and then the loser has to get a tattoo. So what was it again? They have to have written, Maureen?
So Woodley's supposed to have "I love Jake Paul" tattooed.
I love Jake Paul. That's it.
And then he has to post it to Instagram too. So he has to.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. I don't know if I would agree to that deal, you guys. That's too permanent for me.
Well, I want to know, and I posed this to Dave. Nobody really knows. I mean, so what happens if he doesn't do it? Well, what happens if he doesn't?
Maybe he doesn't get some money.
Maybe, I don't know. I feel like that was sort of like the money, the contract, all of that, and then it was like, hey, on top of it, if you lose, you have to get. You know what I mean?
Well, if you think about it, if he doesn't get the rematch, you don't get the money from the rematch.
True.
So there's that. I mean, it's like you said, it's not like you can say, hey, I'm going to take you out and beat you up. I mean,
right. I'm going to punch you in the face. No, I already did that. Yeah.
Right.
Can I ask you a quick question, Dave?
I hope I have the answer.
Okay. Well, and you too, Maureen, I'm genuinely curious. I really don't know the answer to this, but you know how everyone's saying, oh, it's all set up, it's fixed. And then Jake is only winning because he's fighting these like has-beens. Do you think that it's fair to say that, or do you think it's fair that some people are saying that he's a good fighter and it doesn't matter who he's fighting?
Listen, the only thing that's ever officially been known to be fixed is professional wrestling, right? So, the UFC certainly is, and I would say it is not. But, that would be my guess that it's not, but I could see where people would say that, certainly.
Yeah.
I think the more interesting thing that you bring up is the opponents that he faced a former basketball player, I think. And you're right. I guess he hasn't faced the who's who, I guess. But again, I got to be honest, I haven't paid a ton of attention. I didn't really pay much attention to him up until the boxing part.
Yeah.
I think he used to be in a Disney show as well, and he's a YouTuber. It's pretty interesting, this guy.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about him until all this boxing stuff too. So maybe that's a good thing for him. He's making a name for himself.
Yeah, I just remember the controversial YouTube situations happening.
Yeah.
I didn't really know that he got into fighting.
Yeah.
And Dave knows much more about the whole. I don't have any take on is it fixed or not, because that's not my realm. I don't know. I'll let them fight over tattoos and whatever, and YouTube, whatever they want to YouTube about all those tattoos. But anyway, all right. So what do you say? We call this a Monday.
Oh, well, one last thing.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
The Browns. I mean, the
Oh,
Browns.
the Browns. Yeah. Wait, let's get to the real.
Yeah, there'd probably be a lot of how can you just talk Jake Paul and not talk the Browns? But
I know.
They win 19-10 last night, Sunday Night Football, right here on Channel 3. The good news here is the preseason's over, and there was a lot of debate and talk about whether Kevin Stefanski should play his starters last night. A lot of people didn't think he would play them. He didn't play all of them. Many of the stars like Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Odell Beckham Jr., they didn't play, but Baker Mayfield did, and a lot of the offensive linemen. And, Baker looked pretty good, threw for 113 yards, threw for a touchdown. I think what's good about this is he gets some reps and he could take that into the first game against the Chiefs. But the bottom line is there was no injuries. So that's the key, because the Baltimore Ravens lost their starting running back. J.K. Dobbins went to Ohio State in their preseason game. So that's huge. If you lose, you can't be losing players in the preseason. So they escaped the preseason 3-0. No injuries of severe injuries of star players. So now it's off to Kansas City. Kansas City, here we come, September 12th against the Chiefs.
They did look good. They looked good.
I saw some tweets that said, take Baker Mayfield out. Now I know why they said that.
Yeah. Yes.
Get him out.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want any shoulder injuries. All right. Thanks so much for joining us on this Monday morning, and we will see you right back here on Friday. Of course, all week we will be on Go starting at 4:30. We go right until 7 a.m. So we'll see you Monday through Friday right here. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.